good afternoon, good evening. I'm Nasib and I'm working in the information unit of the Transparency Division in UNFCCC Secretariat. And today I'm going to show you how to navigate around CRF Reporter for entering your GHG data and to get familiar with the application. So once you have requested the access to the CRF Reporter and you are provided to the access to the CRF Reporter, you will have the link. Once you paste the link in the browser, you will be asked to enter your username and the password. So, and we'll, for the National Inventory Compiler, who is the admin user of the CRF Reporter application for the party, so that person would have received the username and password. So once you enter the username and password, you will be seeing this user interface for the CRF Reporter. And I'm going to walk you through navigating this user interface. So once you log in, you will see these tabs, which has the different functions within the CRF Reporter. So I'll briefly explain what these tabs are, and then I'll go into the details of each of these tabs. So the administration is where the National Inventory Compiler, the admin user for the party, adds, edit, or disable the user, and for the other user who have the role of expert within the country, and that role is within the CRF Reporter. For them, they can change the password through this setting. So I'll come back to this tab later. And the inventories is where you can see which inventory you are working. So we have already created an inventory for you, and in this tab you can select the properties for your inventories. And the data entry is the place where you enter the data for your inventory. Reporting tables is the tab where you export your reporting tables in the format of aggregate CRF tables for Annex 1 parties. And the import export, so this is where you export all CRF tables or import the data using the Excel, Microsoft Excel, or using the simple XML. And the data checks, this checks does the key category analysis as well as the data entry completeness check. And the useful link has the section for the user manual, and then the reporting guidelines for the Annex 1 parties, as well as the IPCC guidelines, emission factor database, and global warming potential that might be useful while compiling the inventory. So these are the tabs through where you can navigate through the CRF Reporter. And now let me go into the administration. So once you receive the access to the CRF Reporter, if you want to change the password, so this is the tab where you said go to user preference setting and then change my password. Then you will be prompted to change the password. So you can enter the password that was provided to you and then enter the new password. So this is where you change the password. And then in the user management and user administration, this is where the National Inventory Compiler can add other users within the country to get familiar with the CRF Reporter. So here you can see that there is a list which is the CRF user in my country. So in this case, these are the users that I have added. So, and then you can see you can assign which sector the user is working on, and then the role. So let me show you how to add a user. So in order to add a user, you click on this plus sign. So then you will have a new row added to the table here. So for that one, let me add a user. So the user that I'm adding is user webinar 2 is the user that I have added. Then the email that would be associated with that user. So let me add my email. So I have added the user, and then I want this user to be the sectoral expert for energy. So this user then has the ability to do the data entry in the energy sector. So you can assign one sector or multiple sectors. So right now I'm assigning one sector, and there are different roles within the CRF Reporter, and I'm assigning the role of the expert who would be able to enter the data and export the tables for that sector. So there are other roles also, and each users can have multiple roles. But for getting familiar with the CRF reporter, we have disabled the remaining roles. So the only roles available to you in this version of the CRF reporter is the expert, but you can select the multiple sectors. So once you assign the sector and then the role, then I have to change the password for that user. So I have changed the password, and while you are making the changes, the line changes from the orange to yellow, meaning that the changes that you have implemented is implemented. So once you assign the sector role, then the user is by default disabled. So you unclick on the disabled button, then the user would be enabled. And after this, the user would receive an email in his or her account saying that with the username and password. Let me show you if I have received the email. So as you can see, you have already received an email saying that, okay, the username that I created was user webinar 2 and the password that I was created. So the user would get the username and the password for logging into the CRF reporter. So this is how you administer the user, and in order to disable the user, then you can just click on disable the user. So this is all about the user administration. Now let me go to the inventories. So in the inventories tab, so while providing access, we have already created an inventory for you. We have already started an inventory for you. So once you click on inventories and work on inventories, then you will see, and once you click on the inventory that has been started for you, you can see the general properties of the inventories, then what are the sectors that you want to enter the data. So in this case, all the sectors are selected. And for some sectors, there are options like, for example, for agriculture sector, you can select between option A, B, C to enter the data for the livestock. So in this case, I have selected option C. And then you can select the inventories here for which you want to prepare the inventories. So in this case, I have selected 1990 up to 2017. And if I want to add one more year, so I have to just click on that cell, so that now I have in my inventories, I have all the years from 1990 to 2018 that you can see here. And if you do not want to report for some years, then you can just unclick on these boxes so that that year won't be a part of your inventory. So this is how you specify the properties for your inventories. And now moving on, let me go show you the data entry, which is where you enter the data for the CRF in the CRF reporter. So you can see once you click on the data entry, you are presented with the navigation tree, and this navigation tree follows the Annex 1 reporting guidelines from Decision 24 CP19. And you can see I had selected all the sectors, so you can see all the sectors here. So before I start entering the data, let me show you. For agriculture, I had selected option C. So you can see option C has been selected for the agriculture for me to enter the data. For the demo purpose, I'll show you how to enter the data in one of the in energy sector. So if you click on this plus signs here, then it expands the navigation tree. And if you click on this minus sign, then it's collapsed the navigation tree. So I want to enter the data in 1A, 1C. So I clicked up to 1A, 1C, and here you can see that there are these white lines and the yellow lines. So the white lines means these lines, these are the places where you cannot add a child node, and the orange line means you can either add the predefined categories or you can add the country specified categories. So in this case, for 1A, 1C, in 1A, 1CI, manufacture of solid fuels, I have liquid fuels and solid fuels. So if gaseous fuel is applicable for my country, so then I can add a child node by right clicking, and then you can select gaseous fuel. So the gaseous fuel is added to my navigation tree. So once you click on this added category, then you are presented with the data entry grids. So as explained earlier by Lorna, you can see that there are these white cells and the green cells. white cells are where you enter the data. So let me enter some data here. And as you can see that while entering the data, the font changes from the bold to non-bold, meaning that the data is saved, and there is no save button, or you don't have to save data by clicking anywhere. The data is automatically saved as you enter the data. So the data is saved in the database automatically. So even if so you won't lose the data that you have entered. And I can select the calorific value applicable for that fuel, and then I can select the emissions. So I'm entering the emissions here. So as you can see, as I enter the data in the white cells, the values in the green cells are automatically calculated. So behind those green cells, there is an underlying formula that calculates the values in those cells. So in this case, I entered the activity data in terajoules for the gaseous fuels, and then I entered the emissions. And for me, the implied emission factor was automatically calculated by the application. So this is how you can enter the data. And then while I'm here in the data entry grid, so, and there might be cases where you have to enter the notation keys. So you can also enter the notation keys, standard notation keys in the reporting guidelines. So if I enter the notation keys, I have entered the notation keys NE for 1991. And here you can see that the notation keys has been propagated for all the time series. So I entered the notation keys for 1991, and you can see that the notation keys NE not estimated has been propagated for the rest of the time series. So you don't have to enter the notation keys for each year. So it assumes that once if you report a notation keys for 1 year, then it propagates along the time series. And if in future that you want to replace these notation keys with the numbers, you can just override these numbers with the numbers in future. So you can override these notation keys when the numbers becomes available. So this is how you can enter the data. And the other feature in the data entry grid is that you can provide a cell comment. So you can provide an official comment that would be a part of your official submission. So if I want to provide the comment for CH4 emissions in gaseous fuel for this sector, so I can provide a comment. So I can enter the comment, and for the notation keys, you will have a different tabs where you can enter the notation keys also. So I can also provide the explanation for why I have used that notation keys. So here, if I click on the notation keys, I'll be presented with a place to enter the notation keys. So that the notation, so when I click on these cells, when I click on here, so my explanation for that notation keys appears here. So this is how you can enter the data in the user interface. And then there is another way of adding the data, which is by exporting this data entry grids to an Excel file, and then you can work on that Excel file offline, and then you can import that Excel file to this application when you are online. So in order to do that, you can click on this import export tab. Here you have different options for export. And here the first option is the Excel export for data entry. So once I click on the sector totals, and then there is this, you are presented with the navigation tree again. And once you expand on those navigation tree, so let me click on the node that I have just entered the data for. So this was the node that I had just entered the data. So I have the option to just export this node for data entry, or I can export the whole energy sector for data entry, or I can export the all sectors for data entry. So there are various options. So you can select whichever is applicable for you. So in this case, let me export this single data entry grid. So once I export this single data entry grid, so I clicked on export, and you can see the status of the export by clicking on my data export. So you can see that the export that I have just done, I have the file. So you can download this file by clicking on the link, and then you are presented with this window where you can enter the data. And here you can see that the data that I have entered a while ago has been reflected in this Excel data entry grids, including the official comment that I had inserted here. So this here now, like in the user interface, there are white cells and the green cells. So you can only enter the data in white cells. So let me enter the data for 1991. So as you can see, I have just entered the data in the white cells, and then the values in the green cells are not calculated in this Excel file. But once you import this file to the CRF reporter application, the values in these green cells are automatically calculated. So, and here in this Excel file, you cannot modify this Excel file, meaning you cannot add rows or delete rows, or enter the values other than in the area specified. Otherwise, you will get an error while importing the file. So I have just specified the values in the places where I'm meant to enter the data. So let me save this file. And now let me import that file. So in order to import that file, I'll again go to the import export tab, and then there is an option of Excel XML import. So here I can select the file that I want to import. So this was the file that I have just entered the data. So once I select the file, so once I submit, then the CRF reporter begins the process of import. And you can see that the export process was quite quick, within less than a minute, but the import might take a while, because in the background while importing, it is doing the calculation that you can see in those green cells. So it will take a bit more time compared to the data export. And then you can see the status of import here in this file. So it says my data import, and then the file that I imported is status is working, and it tells me approximate time that it would take to import the files. Here it says 30 minutes, but it might take less time than that. So while we are waiting for this file to import, let me show you some other features in the data entry. So in the data entry, so there might be the cases where you do not have the data, disaggregated data by fuels for some categories. So in those cases, you can override the you can disable the aggregation of the data. So for that thing, let me add a category again here. I think the import process is not allowing me to click here, but in reality, that should not be the case. So while you're importing, you should be able to work on the rest of the inventories. Here you can see that the status of the inventory is logged, meaning that the import process is happening. So that is locking the inventory, so that while it's in the status log, then you can't enter the data. Otherwise, because it's doing the calculation on behind. So while the inventory is still locked, let me show you another feature, which is the data checks. Here in the data checks, you can do the key category analysis also. So in order to do the share of each of your categories, you can select a year, and then you can see the categories and gas combination, and their share of share of level and train with and without Prolucia. You can see there are some red funds and some black funds. The black funds are the red funds are the key categories that is applicable for these inventories. So you can do the data checks. And another feature in the data checks is the completeness of your data entry. So this feature is quite useful for you to have an overview of the status of your data entry within the CRF reporter. So here you can see which are the categories that have the full complete data, and which do not have any data entered by you, or if there is a partial data entry. So this system works with the traffic light system. So you have the indication of green, red, and yellow. So it's still working. You can see that this is still working. So I'll be presented with this once I click on completeness check. I'll be presented with this window where all the years that I have selected for the inventory will be there. And then once I click on a particular year, I'll be again presented with the data entry, like the navigation tree that you saw in the data entry. So once you click on the energy, you can see that some of the cells are green, meaning that these cells have the 100% data entry. So this node has 100% data entry, as you can see here. So it has 100% data entry, and the orange cells means it has partial data entry. So let me show you what I had added a while ago. So in this case, in the case of gaseous fuel, I had partial data entry. So the color is yellow, and if you have not done any data entry, then the color of that tab is red. So as you can see here, there is no data entry. So I had added this gaseous fuel, and if you remember, like, you can see that the data that I entered in the Excel file, this was the data that I had entered in the Excel file 56223, and these were the numbers that I had entered in the Excel file that have now been imported into the CRF reporter from the Excel file, and then the implied emission factor has been automatically calculated. And in this completeness check window, you can also, if you see that some data is missing, here also you can do the data entry. So I can enter the data here as well. So this is also the place where you can enter the data. So this is how you can check the completeness of your data entry. And now the inventory is already editable. So let me show you how you can disable the auto. So let me add a child node. So I'm adding 1A, 1C, 2 in my category tree. So for this node, if I do not have the breakdown by fuels, then I can already enter the emissions. I do not need to enter the emissions by fuels. I can already enter the emissions here. Say, so I enter the emissions for CO2, so that I don't have to specify to the disaggregated at the fuels table. So while I do that, so you can also overwrite for some of the nodes. So this is also the feature that is available in the CRF reporter application. And then the other feature that I want to show you, so I think that was in the data entry part. And then there is an option to export the data that you have entered can be seen in the aggregate CRF table. So in this case, let me export so in the reporting tables, in this tab you can export each individual table from the aggregate CRF tables and see how the data that you have entered is reflected in the CRF table. So I clicked on 1AS1. So the file is downloaded. So I'm opening the file. So you can see this file. This is the aggregate CRF tables for Annex 1 parties. So here you can see I had entered the data for 1A1C1 gaseous fuels. So the data that I have entered here is reflected here. So here also you can see the white cells are for the data entry and the orange cells are where the aggregation happens. So here I have entered the data 1, 2, 3, 4 for gaseous fuels, and then there was for this the data was entered for solid fuels earlier. So you can see that this data is aggregated upwards. So this data is aggregated upwards in this CRF table. So this is one way of seeing your exported tables. And then you have the feature to export the whole CRF tables for all years. So for that thing, you can go to Import Export tab and you can do My Data Export to see the status. And if you want to export all reporting tables, then click on Export Reporting Tables. Then you can click on Export with Data. So this would export all the CRF tables for all years. So this should export one Excel file for each year, and then one Excel file would have numerous worksheets. So this export would take a bit of time. So in order to save the time, before this webinar, I had already exported this file to show you how the export looks like. So let me show you how this exported file looks like. So the file, you will have the zip file. So you can see that there are one file each for each inventory year that I have created. So, and if I open for, say, for 1990, if I open the CRF tables for 1990, so this is how the CRF table should look like. So for a particular year, you can see that there are around 95, there are 72 worksheets, and if you click on in one of these worksheets, so you can see that the table that I shown you a while ago is also here, and then there are rest of this table. So this is how you can export the whole CRF tables for all years for your internal review within the party. And if you have the national system for entering the data, then you can also do the XML import. If your national system, like some of the Annex 1 parties, they have their national system, so they enter their data in their own national system, and then the data that they enter in their national system can be transferred to the CRF reporter via XML file also. So you can enter the data by 3 means. So one is directly data entry into the user interface. Another option is to export the Excel file and enter the data offline and then again re-import the file. And the other option is the XML file. So that is about the data entry. I covered reporting tables and then the import export, where you can either export or import the reporting tables. And then you have the data checks for key categories and completeness. And then I covered the links. So I think with this, I covered the basic functionalities of the CRF reporter. And now I think we'll open the floor for the questions that you may have.